Hey everybody, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I want to rewind time a little bit and take you back to October 12th of 2023. This is the date that I made my first TikTok video about the true crime case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Several weeks went by, but then I had to redo my video. I had to bleep out the R word and censor several other things, and then I re-uploaded that, and that was at the end of November 2023. I did receive comments from 3 different people that were saying they were not happy or excited to hear that she would be getting out, and I had others saying that I was the first person that ever spoke about how she wasn't that innocent either. But the majority of people had no idea that she would be getting out, and the few that did actually were very supportive of Gypsy being granted parole. At this time, I had no idea who Fancy Macelli was, and I would not come to learn who she was until March of 2024. Same can be said for many other Gypsy Rose Blanchard creators. A lot of other content creators didn't show up till 6 to 12 months after I made my first video. And there's even some that are popping up now, and it's February of 2025. People are still interested in covering the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Unfortunately, viewers are not interested in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case anymore. And now that she is a new mom and she's remaining private, she's choosing not to do any more TV shows with mainstream media after this season airs. And that's why I want to go back to this, because I bet you this is what everybody thinks this is all about FlawlessNina versus Gypsy Rose, or FlawlessNina versus says Bri. FlawlessNina is a beauty influencer who rose to prominence in the tiny remote corner of the internet and social media that is the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, albeit the division of supporters and non-supporters. We started seeing things like this pop up. Body shaming, says Bri, aka Brianna Hines, who is a staunch supporter and very dear friend to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. There was even an entire Reddit page negatively dedicated to FlawlessNina, and an entire TikTok account called Nina the Clown, making fun of her with blackface caricatures and animation doodles of an African-American woman looking like a clown because her makeup is overdone. The back and forth continued so much that people started to wonder if these two were really friends and working together, or if they really weren't. And then Gypsy chimed in with the whole panini pressed thing.
Like, Nina can't just do Gypsy content forever. Like, I hope she knows that. It's gonna get boring for people eventually, you know? So I was like, man, let me think of some really great ideas for her. And I think I found a winner. Let me show y'all these 2 clips, and I think y'all will agree that this is what Nina should do after she stops finally talking about Gypsy.
Both women have gone on to make their own content, to host their own live panels, be active on other live panels, to be really proactive in their own communities, whether it be anti-Gypsy Rose or supporters of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. But right when everybody thought it was done, the back and forth still continued on and on and on.
Are you delusional? Gypsy Rose Blanchard used a man with autism, a low IQ, and other mental health issues that was collecting a permanent disability check to unalive her mom.
Look at you, a grown-ass woman in what, her 40s, 50s, trying to tear down another person because they're standing up for what they believe in.
And then there was this, the whole thing with Bri accidentally forgetting to end a live panel on TikTok and caught telling Gypsy Rose Blanchard on a phone call, basically instructing her on how to lie to her parole officer.
Saddest part is, you won't even admit it. Clinging on to opinions that aren't even your own isn't power, it's weakness.
And then there was the Gypsy Rose Blanchard book signing event, which was held on Friday the 13th. And it went just about as well as any Friday the 13th would be expected to go, with a full moon and vitriol ready to run rampant on both sides of the Gypsy Rose Blanchard spectrum.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. This is the most exciting thing that's happened all year long.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes security officer or something.
Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
here we
no,
go.
that's a
Here we go. Is that with Bri? It's Bri.
So let's see what he
Bri.
says.
Oh shit.
Can't hear anything. Bri's actually doing this? Really, Bri? Really?
This is ridiculous.
They made her shut
And
it off.
Here
Oh,
we
man.
go. Here we go. You know what?
Oh,
You know
shit,
what?
guys.
That is
She didn't even
ridiculous.
do anything,
Absolutely.
guys. Come on.
That
What do you
is
guys? Oh, man,
ridiculous.
that's crazy.
Look up some Bri.
And I don't think was that a real
Let me
cop?
tell you
I
guys
couldn't
something.
see.
I think it was.
I don't know, guys.
He
What
was
did she
wearing
tell him? What
brown.
did she tell him?
That
That's
might
what
have
I
been
want to know.
security. All security.
It looked like
I don't think
security.
I don't think a real cop would do that. I don't know.
It really looked like security.
Yeah,
to
I think it's
me.
mall security.
Yeah.
Oh, hold
New
on.
Orleans
We're back. We're
cop.
back.
It's more of
Hold on.
like they're just
Oh,
like,
good.
hey.
Okay.
I hope she's okay.
Move,
Bri
Sarah.
with her.
All right,
I mean,
cameras
she's
back
bigger
on.
than I thought.
Yeah, I
She's
didn't
like
wanna-
way bigger
I'm
than I
not gonna
thought.
stop
She's
doing
shorter
anything
than I
until
thought.
we
I thought she was
know.
big.
for
Yeah,
a fact
she's
that they're not-
huge.
Let's check in with Amanda. Amanda, you got
Look at her.
audio?
She looks more pregnant
Oh
than
my
Gypsy.
What is she doing? Is she
Ah,
causing
no,
a
she didn't see
scene?
that.
Is
She
she
is causing
causing
a
a
scene.
scene?
There's
She
Rogo.
is.
There's Acne
The
Boy.
Rogo man.
Acne Head.
Oh,
Oh my God, this is
my
great.
He looks
You're
like
acting
Siren.
like Secret Service agent.
And that's Lifetime,
She's
Yeah,
right?
they're
so
interviewing her.
hilarious.
Oh, she's trying to say, "Oh, look, we're being crazy.
Look at
These
her
are
feet.
crazy people."
Look
I
at
know.
her feet.
These
I
guys,
bet
yeah,
Look
she's
at
interviewing.
those skis.
Why is she wearing jeans like that?
Holy
Bri, that's not a
moly.
good look. That doesn't look good on you, honey.
She's
Oh,
gaslighting
man.
Lifetime right now, the audience.
Totally.
Bri, those pants don't look good on you.
Her
You know what?
booty's backwards.
Why does Rogie get to
Oh
have
my God, I didn't
coffee
see
from that cafe, which Pink Pony actually was a patron too? But they
Patronized. She
kick her
patronized
out,
it too.
and then he could do whatever.
Maybe
She's
Bri is
filming
the
them,
surrogate.
filming her. This is so weird.
Bri the surrogate? What are you
Shut
guys
up! Oh my God!
All those
stop
ladies
it.
came out with books, guys. Those 3 ladies that were just walking by came out with
Her
books.
booty is.
Oh, now
Wait.
Lifetime's filming us, Amanda.
Oh my God.
Don't talk to them, Amanda.
Or is that a police? Are they taking like a report? That looks like a cop. Maybe
It's not the
no?
real police.
No, that's the security car.
It's
That's
not real
a
police.
Yeah, the guy in the brown tan, those are security guards.
I would not
my
show up on
God.
TV. Like,
Oh
Lord.
my.
Yeah,
Oh
welcome
my.
back, Lena.
The-
This
the-
is-
She couldn't wear a dress.
What?
Yeah, something that doesn't zip at the butt.
Yeah,
belly.
yeah, dude.
She
Nicole.
looks like
Yeah.
that Oompa Loompa cartoon.
I
that-
know,
No,
right?
she does. But look
It
at the
looks like
feet,
that
though.
outfit.
The skis, baby. The skis.
Oh my God.
Oh
Oh
no.
my God. The skis.
She's telling Lifetime,
thought I
guys,
was
just
doing like
headshots
that.
here. Just headshot. Just
Like,
keep
you
it
know, some dude
the
with
neck and above.
He's on
Don't
Twitter.
go down.
Why is she involved with all of this? What happened? What was the emergency out here, Bri?
And
What
she had
happened?
the audacity
look,
to
they're-
talk about me.
They
This
Yeah.
is
take a
crazy.
picture of the security
know.
car like there's something like they're pretending like something happened out
Okay,
here. They're
but
doing
guys,
B-roll.
let's
See the
also
B-roll?
remember-
That's the
Yeah, there's
B-roll.
B-roll.
The cops
The
arrived,
security
guys.
car.
All different types of things, and a lot of
Exactly.
times,
Exactly. They're gonna act like
wait,
there's no
wait.
emergency here.
I'd rather have too much.
Hey,
than
now
too
we
little.
can
That's the
show
idea
this
of
footage
videography.
when that
But-
Lifetime series
For
episode
anything.
comes
Yes,
out.
yes.
We can prove they're liars.
Yeah.
See?
Yep.
Well, actually,
Well,
They
they're
fabricated this whole
responding.
thing.
It looks like they're responding to Bri throwing a tantrum.
That's what it was. I believe Bri brought them out to say there's protesters out here for
Yeah.
Gypsy. Exactly.
And they said there's nothing wrong because she's still there.
Right. She's just
And
standing
Bri's
on the
having
sidewalk.
a fit because they're not throwing her out.
And Lifetime was
how
all
Bri is
over
on
it because they want to use that to make it dramatic. Like, yes, people hate Gypsy and poor Gypsy, and that's why they're getting the B-roll with the security car.
Yep,
The whole
I agree,
thing.
Bird. Guys, Bird's saying they're spinning a narrative to say the people who showed up
Is he an officer or is he
Oh.
a security?
gonna
Mall
edit all
security.
that together. Make it look like people are being arrested or something.
A
There's
detective.
Bri.
I didn't know they wear uniforms.
Bree, get out of
Look
here.
at
Oh, you
that
streaming her?
What are you
Streaming
doing
you,
back here doing
boy?
this
Why
now?
she got to do
Why
that?
Why are you
Why?
streaming, bro?
Not
God.
gonna
Why are you streaming, bro?
Hey, officer, why does she get to do that and we can't do
That
what
made no
she's
damn
doing?
sense.
Why are we
don't get
pretending
it.
like there's an emergency out here? Why are you pretending like that?
Guys, I'll be
Wow.
right back. Just keep it going.
That's
I'll be right back.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I got my money back.
That's
He used
crazy.
Detective Jones with Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office and he did not provide me with an item number for said incident. He said, "What do I need an item for?" I said, "You tell me." Well,
Holy
so
shit,
they
her
walked
fucking
over, and
sound
then I think
sucks.
Lifetime reacted to her little. He said, "Yeah," and so they interviewed her, turned the camera at me. So Lifetime interviewed you? They didn't. No, they just zoomed in on me, and I said, "Make sure to put my name in the credit." Period. And then when they walked out, I said, "Good job, guys. Great job." No, they kicked me out.
But the latest drama is this: people trying to get a hold of some emails. So I looked into this and I was asking questions. These are apparently emails that Fancy had released over 6 years ago. They were available on Reddit and on a Google Drive. She's used them in her podcast and in her book, but people wanted copies of them. For what reasons? I have no idea.
Nick is a horrible person and he's psychopathic and all this other stuff. I find that interesting because Brandy is definitely connected with Christy and them, definitely. But it seems like whenever she decides to make circles in people's lives, like right now, she was in Ryan's live last night, all in the comments talking about how Nick was not manipulated. He still killed somebody. And
that the emails wouldn't have changed his, like him being manipulated by Fancy would not have changed what he said in those emails.
It's very interesting to me. Like, that is interesting to me.
To me, it's all about people covering their ass.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And they're trying to rewrite history, but video doesn't lie.
Exactly. All right, we'll continue onward.
Okay.
Live replay right afterwards. What I was wanting to know because I saw your video earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was one of you guys.
About Nick and your email to him, and I thought that was a very sincere, heartfelt email. It was touching. I feel bad for him. I feel horrible for him, and I think he deserves all the support.
That Fancy was reaching out and harassing the Go-to-Johns because this person is saying your email to them.
Yep. And that was last year.
Yep. Well, she's still trying to write to him.
But it shows how long that this harassment has continued when they have explicitly told her to leave them alone.
This harassment has continued for over 6 years, it seems to me. For over 6 years, right?
Yes.
And like we were watching this live last night or yesterday, and me and Rose both, we was like, wait a minute, put that back. Did she just say that she emailed Nick and this person is saying, you know, I hope that he responds back? Like, it's little things like that that you don't catch at first. And then when you go back and listen,
I didn't catch it at first.
Right, which is why I'm glad. Listen, a lot of people don't understand why Rose does this, like records stuff. But this is why, because you don't catch it at first.
Right. At the end of the day, that kid is autistic. He was put in a situation that he didn't ask to be put in, made to believe that that was his only choice. Totally taken advantage, set up, framed by this seemingly mastermind little criminal, to me, in my opinion. And I just feel bad for him. And I think all the support, you know, does his dad get to go see him, or does his dad go see him?
I do know that there's pictures. See, I didn't know when was the last time that Bobby saw him, you know, but he posted pictures of him in a Facebook group that I'm in. And I think he's seen him recently, but I don't think he ever got to see Stephanie again. By God, I hope he does. Bobby, please, 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 please. No one else is going to tell your son's story the way I'm going to tell it for him. No one else is going to give you a fair fucking shake on him. I will.
That is fucking gold, people. That clip is fucking gold.
Because look at the way she has told his story.
Because look at everything she's done behind the scenes and what she's doing now. That is gold.
First time, Bobby, I'm sorry. I did. But I'm standing here today as a humble woman and telling you, please let me help you tell your son's story, no matter what happens on the 5th. I will make sure that Nick's story is told. He will be heard. Because the people here want to hear him. And everybody that's doing it right now is because you guys heard me freaking running my mouth on TikTok. And as long as I'm typing and as long as I'm talking, I'm actually in a pretty decent state of mind. Yes, did I have moments where I cried? Yeah, because I realized I fucking screwed Nicholas Lover so damn bad.
Another golden piece. Another.
Yeah, like
Okay,
seriously.
right here is when I did not know, when I first started recording these, I did not know about the Nick infiltration. I found that out about a month into exposing.
You know, when you think somebody can't be any more deplorable, meet Fancy Macelli, April Johns.
Listen to Bri because she really does have a point.
It was like, okay, whatever. I think that that contributed to what happened. And it's sad. And I wish that he would have had someone better in his corner telling him, take this plea deal. That's who failed Nick. It's just people don't realize while they're sitting here and I'm going to keep saying coddling because that's what I believe. You can have empathy for someone without coddling them. While they're coddling him, and while I'm also having empathy for him, some of these people have none for Gypsy, no empathy. It's like, I don't see how they can coddle him and have so much empathy for him just because he has autism. I mean, wait, but no, this is the craziest part. You know how, the micro deletion, you know how they go every which direction with that. They'll go through the whole list and say she got it all. Well, I don't know if you know this, but autism is one of the things that you could have.
But the difference is that Gypsy Rose Blanchard does not have autism. Nicholas Godejohn does. One of the biggest things in the true crime community is debating and discussing what could have happened. But first and foremost, discussing what events and circumstances took place to lead to the events that occurred. No ands, ifs, buts, reasonings, justifications, excuses, negating, none of that. But really trying to understand crime helps in prevention and education. So how can anybody educate or prevent these kinds of crimes from occurring again? Or how can they be stopped before they occur? What are the circumstances, the symptoms, the warning signs? That's fundamentally the most important part about being in the true crime community. Something positive and proactive coming out of it. Okay, I am sharing this video, but I have to take the copyright sound off the video. But this is a video that the Good Wives Network shares to explain the email/messaging situation that has been a very hot topic for the past 2 weeks. And you can feel free to pause and to read, or you can go to the Good Wives Network and see the video for yourself. Because what essentially is being alleged is that over 6 years ago, Fancy had a Nick infiltration group. Now, she clarifies and she says that she had a Natasha Cooper infiltration group and a Nicholas investigation group, and that she once accidentally mixed the two up. Okay, understandable. Everybody misspeaks. But the whole thing that everybody is talking about is the fact that some woman named Dawn had reached out to Nicholas Godejohn on her own accord because she felt bad for him. She felt sorry for him. She comes to Fancy and tells Fancy that she has inside information about Nicholas Godejohn. Now, this woman supposedly had mental health and substance misuse issues going on in her life. She also had her daughter reach out to Nicholas Godejohn and speak with him. So, from my understanding, those emails were not put out because they look very bad on Nicholas because of the contents of what was said. I wouldn't know because I have not read them. But this is directly from Fancy explaining herself about these messages and emails. And supposedly the fact that this woman, Dawn, comes to her and she had offered money for that information.
In one text, Fancy Macelli, aka April Johns, writes to Ken, "Just thought I'd let you know we now have the complete inside story on Nick, and we intend to make sure that guy never gets an appeal or sees the light of day. Thank God Gypsy escaped that sociopath. Hope you are well.
This is a Becca Scoops video breaking down exactly what happened.
Fancy, aka April Johns, writes, I've seen a lot of things in my days, Ken. Nothing that has truly freaked me out. But reading these emails, OMG, I've never seen anything like it. And now there's these fucktards running around trying to create some freedom movement. Holy crap, they are morons. Ken responds, LOL, if only all those losers who stand by old poor Nicky Poo could see them. Have you seen the trailer, as they call it, for these Nick freedom fighters? Fancy asks. Ha ha ha, right? Ken responds. Now here's where we get to the very incriminating text between Fancy Macelli and Ken Urker.
This is the section of the video where it is said that Fancy Macelli has committed obstruction of justice.
We'll go on. Fancy writes, these emails to Dawn make me want to vomit. Ken writes, I heard all about the emails, though obviously I haven't read them. But why is she scared? Ken asks. Fancy answers, no, you have no idea. Nobody knows what we have. She's been having our psych team help her write him. He's threatened her life several times. It's gross. He told me. End quote.
Some creators are upset because they feel that Fancy intentionally sent Dawn in to manipulate Nick into incriminating himself.
That Gypsy knew all about this letter writing campaign. The letter writing campaign to ensure that Nick wouldn't get a good appeal, that he would not be granted an appeal. And what did she do? Well, by all accounts that we know, she did nothing. Fancy Macelli, aka April Johns, is acting as a semi-quasi representative for the Blanchards. Ken and Gypsy knew all about who Dawn was because Dawn had contacted Gypsy back in 2019 about this illegal letter writing campaign to stop Nick from getting an appeal.
Hey guys, I'm Fancy and you're watching the Good Wives Network. So today I am being given the task to educate you once again on words and phrases that people say that they have no clue what they're saying. So the phrase of the day comes from Toddy One Skip. Thank you so much, Toddy, for using these words incorrectly so that we would be able to educate others so they don't make the same stupid mistake. And all of this is allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment and educational purposes only and to bully no one. Let's dish. So, yes, it is possible to obstruct justice during an appeal. And there are federal laws that prohibit it. 18 U.S.C. 1503 is one of those laws. It prohibits obstructing the administration of justice in civil and criminal judicial proceedings. 18 U.S.C. 1512 C2 prohibits obstructing, influencing, or impeding any official proceeding, including judicial proceedings. 18 U.S.C. 1504 prohibits influencing a juror's decision in a court of the United States. Some examples of obstruction of justice do include knowingly providing false information to law enforcement. Nope, didn't do that. Lying to a court prosecutor or a law enforcement officer. Nope. Destroying, manipulating, or hiding evidence. No. Using force or threat to force to prevent the production of evidence. No. Using deception, corruption, or intimidation to prevent the production of evidence. No. And to be convicted of obstruction of justice, the prosecution must show that there was a legal or government proceeding that could be obstructed, which, okay, there was in the near future, 2 years later, I guess. Yeah. There is a clear link between the attempts to obstruct and the proceedings. No clear link, not even a little bit, not even a tiny little fraction, not even a micro deletion of it, of a link, nothing. The defendant was aware of this link. So, with that being said, I'd love to know what I fall under. I was a person who another person came to and said, hey, I've got information that might help you in understanding who this person is. And I said, fabulous, I'd like to have it. And she gave it to me. The end of story. Did I say I had something I could send to the DA's office to never get him out? Yeah. Did I do that? No. Did I mess with his 2022 appeal? Nope. We weren't even talking about Nick at all or Gypsy at all in 2022. So, no. I've apologized for anything that I felt that was, remotely unethical or remotely me being green and stupid and not knowing how to do all of this, all on my own, figuring it out. I've apologized for all of that. I've brought it all up. I've talked about it. I've put evidence out there. And so for you all to be doing this at this time is rather intriguing to me, considering that Mr. Genoculus is again up for his final and last stand, and you're fucking with it. People who are supposed to be on his side, which that don't make no sense. Why would you want the emails out there right now, Toddy? Why would you want those out there, knowing the subject matter of what's in them? Do you know the subject matter of what's in them? Have you read them? Oh, I bet you haven't. There is a lot to be said about Nicholas. But the fact of the matter is, any way you shake it, that guy did not get a fair trial. And that started long before I ever came along. It started long before that with Gypsy Rose setting him up. But it really started the second that Macelli walked in there and asked him all of those questions, knowing his mental state, knowing that he had been up for over 16 hours, that he was tired and sleepy and had asked to take a nap, knowing that his mother had told her already that he had mental problems, that he had a psychotic break, that he was autistic, and she did nothing to protect his civil rights. That's what everybody should be screaming from the rooftops. Not this other bullshit that you're trying to come down on me because you out of content. So sorry that Gypsy turned off the water hose for you. Must be sad. See, I don't have that problem, considering the fact that I have all the stuff. I've got content for days about this. Years even, if I wanted, which I don't. I'm done. I'm ready to lay this all down. I've just got to finish what I set out to do, and then I will. Because this shit, this craziness, I don't want to participate in this. I didn't want to participate when it started. I sure as shit don't want to participate in it 8 years later. So I honestly do hope that the investigation happens, that law enforcement does get involved, because all it's going to do is lead back to the 2 to 3 people who were responsible for everything. And then you'll understand why they call me crazy fancy, because I'm not really crazy. I've been traumatized by these people. A schmurderer and her con artist family have terrorized me for 8 years for telling the truth. Obviously, Bobby's not interested in the truth. He could have told anything he wanted about his son this whole time. Didn't bother. Petrie's weren't interested in the truth. They could have defended Dee Dee at any time. Never have. So you want to know why I call out the Petrie family and the Godejohn family? That's why. They have done absolutely nothing for their family members to have justice. Nothing. Guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network and on the TikTok. I'm sorry, but my voice is shot. I've been sick.
Claim that as a woman. I do not claim.
Oh, funny, Nicole, because you were singing my praises all last year.
Good Wives Network. That is the cringiest, ugliest thing I've ever seen. And do you think she still has those in stock? Like if you order one? Oh, I guarantee you. Ever get it? Really? I think she's probably only
What
sold
the hell is
two.
this? Proud member of the Quack Pack.
Quack Pack? What's that? What's the face of that
That's
thing?
a 2019 thing.
Stop it, Morbid! Stop it! Oh,
Dude, that's Bri's jeans she wore.
No.
So there you have it, guys. They don't just make fun of people who attack them or make fun of them. They make fun of models who are paid to model products by the company that I contract with for my merchandise to be printed. Make that make sense. What has that girl ever done to y'all? So do you just like to go around shaming people who are fat? Guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching The Good Wives here on TikTok. And I wanted to come and show you exactly who the Petrie family has representing them and exactly how she feels about the Petrie family. I'm still not well, so I'm sorry if I look like hell, but I wanted you guys to have this information because it's important. Let me grab some screenshots. So this is a conversation between me and Dinah, and it starts off here, and there's many conversations before this, and I will end up putting all those out, but there is some personal information that she shared with me that I'm not going to put out there about, you know, grandchildren and things like that, so I have to edit it.
Toddy Oneskip is a very staunch supporter of Nicholas Godejohn and has been very vocal about her thoughts and feelings.
Fancy has just gone to the lowest of lows. And, you know, Fancy has brought something up about Don Boker's character from 11 years ago, 12 years ago, and for the sole purpose of sullying this woman's reputation because of Fancy's failure to change her behavior, because Fancy from her own mouth said that Don Boker, last she heard from Don Boker, which was very recently, was that she had her own life and she had changed her life. It was a good life, and she had turned her whole world around, and she was going to business school and already had her bachelor's. I think it was now going for her master's. And if there was anything that Don Boker has done in the recent 10 years, why wouldn't Fancy show that? Why did Fancy have to go back this far to bring something up about a woman who apparently has turned her life around and is doing sobriety and doing it right?
What I'm not understanding is why this woman, Dawn, would still be active with Natasha or Christy if she claims she doesn't want any part of any drama.
You know why? Because this is Fancy's way of distracting. It doesn't matter that this woman has done hard work. It doesn't matter that she had some shit in her past and that Fancy put her up to stuff, because we already know this. We already know that Fancy had this woman for hire. I showed you the contract. 1980 showed you the contract. Becca, I believe, showed you the contract. Cutting Board Dawn showed you the contract. There's the contract. I even believe that Morbid showed the contract. You've seen the contract by proxy where Don Boker was hired. You saw the video of knowing that Amanda, who did only a couple courses, as we know now, in psychology, was helping Don Boker manipulate letters to put Nick away so he wouldn't see the light of day. We have heard Fancy take credit for messing up Nick's appeal and crying over it. We've shown you videos of that, okay? We've shown you videos of that. So the fact that now Fancy's reputation has gone to shit from her own doing, she is willing once again to take somebody's life and use it as throwaway, because it doesn't matter. As long as Fancy feels like this is what people do in survival mode. They don't care. They just start grabbing at anything. And she's grabbing at people. It was Nick when she fucked things up with the Blanchards, okay? It was Nick that she went to, and this is where this all is coming from.
There has been a lot of talk about these emails and these messages lately, between all of these players in all of this, and I've never seen them or read them myself. I know that people said that they are on a Google Drive, that they were on Reddit, that Fancy herself has used them. She's used them in her podcast and in her book. She's showed many of them and broken them down in videos before. But I'm of the opinion in mind that most people are decent, good human beings who are just trying their best to survive and get through life. And that there is a place and room for forgiveness for many people for many different things. And I don't believe that life is disposable. I don't believe that humans can be discarded, that life can be disposed of. And I apply that logic across the board to all life. I am not going to get into the logistics or the microanalysis, nor am I going to get into the semantics of how somebody can forfeit the right to their life when they take somebody else's, or they forfeit when they do a heinous crime. So now we're at a point where not just creators, but a lot of viewers, subscribers, followers are inadvertently being harmed by this back and forth and are getting brought up or assumed to be involved in this when they're not. And it's really starting to turn people off to the true crime community.
We've been hearing a lot about the Nicholas infiltration group lately. I shared a video about it. 1980 Millennial Commentate shared a video about it. Toddy has talked about it. It's not a secret. April tries to make it out to be something it wasn't, but April Johns was a big, huge part of it. It was hers. Remember, she was going to sue everyone with her big, huge legal team.
I am going to repeat one last time. I do have a lawyer. I do have big people on this. And if you are fucking around with Natasha and you are giving her something, you will absolutely 100% be sued.
So it's my understanding that these emails and messages were from 2019, and that was 6 years ago. So I'm not really understanding why this is all being brought up and rehashed again when all this information has already been on Reddit or out there on a Google Drive, or people have already had them and leaked them to Natasha Cooper. And of course, nobody can absolve Christy Blanchard or Gypsy Rose Blanchard from their involvement in all of that, because there was no doubt that Christy Blanchard and Gypsy Rose Blanchard knew for sure about all of this.
Just a little snippet to remind you.
I offered Dawn a payout for bringing that stuff to me. Yep, we offered to pay her. Yep, it was after she came with the emails to us. Yep, we were hoping that she would be able to get us more information. Yep, and yep.
Yeah, she did say that she offered Dawn a payout.
You guys tell me, but that is normal, right? For an executive producer or producer to pay for information to use?
Hi, just a warning to all creators. The evil witch, April Johns, is filing false copyright strikes on creators because she doesn't like the truth. She says she's all about the truth, but she doesn't like the truth when it comes to how evil she is. So, yeah, she's filing false copyright strikes. Everything I do falls under fair use, and she's filing false copyright strikes. So just a warning to other channels out there. She's filing false copyright strikes. Yeah. This is what, wild animals do when their back is against the wall.
And how, because people are standing up for themselves, somebody's trying to use rules that they don't follow to strike people that are trying to hold them accountable. So obviously talking about Fancy, April Johns, who has copy striked a lot or tried to, and it didn't work on some. And now people are mass reporting Fancy on that, and because of the abuse. See, when you use rules that you don't go by to enforce other people to go by, people get upset about that because it's not fair and that's self-entitlement. And, you know, Fancy doesn't get that. Fancy had plenty of time here to flip-flop 20 million times, abuse a bunch of people, verbally, mentally. She messed with the narrative of Nick, of Gypsy, of Christy, of everybody. And she called herself the self-proclaimed expert. And in the meantime, she knew nothing. She had all of the stuff in front of her, but she didn't go over it. And then she got mad when other people went over it and put out better videos. And then Fancy claimed that it was all hers.
Well, I know that that's not true for me, and I know that's not true for a lot of people that are in the true crime community and who make content, but that is true for a lot of viewers, subscribers, and followers, yes. And she is rightfully credited for putting out the fact that Gypsy does have real medical issues, because while they did disclose 4 of them in a documentary, they blended it in with all of the things that were being exaggerated or made up or feigned by Gypsy and Dee Dee to discredit the real ones.
Fancy wants to act like she knows how people grieve. And this is only because, you know, the Petries were all good people until they didn't want to work with Fancy. And then it's like, what have they done?
So you know what? No, you're not going to get over on me. And you're not going to expose me or do anything. I said what I said. Give me the damn mic. I'll say it again. And then I'll explain to you why I said it and how I feel about it today.
So I have an honest, quick question for you guys. It'll only take you 2 seconds, so please answer it in the comments. How do you know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is? That's it. Just tell me how you know about her or who she is. I'm doing a little experiment and I want to see something. I want to see something. So if you're watching this video, double tap that screen and let me know. How do you know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is?
Hey guys, it's Fancy and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And so my last video was, of course, taken down because, you know, bullying and harassing by informing people of the truth and apologizing for my mistake. Yeah, they struck it. But I found some interesting information that I'm going to read to you because if I put it up, they'll strike me again. Hey guys, it's Fancy and you're watching the Good Wives Network. My video was taken down and it is not going to be restored, even though I was not bullying anybody. I was only apologizing and explaining why I had to do so. So we'll try this again. Becca Scoops is not Dana Blair. Even though she's let everyone believe that I doxed her and put her in danger by stating that was her name because of the incident with her ex-husband being unalived, but she is not Dana Blair. In fact, they had been broken up for a while and she had filed false charges, made statements in her divorce proceedings about him being violent. And she had to admit on the stand that she lied, that she indicated that she started the altercation because she was mad that he was having an extramarital affair.
So this was the most concerning part. A very, very loyal friend and subscriber, not only to me, but to many people, but she's active in my community on TikTok and YouTube, and has been for a long time, has expressed the fact that as a viewer, she's not even safe in the comments to watch Fancy or any of her material without being ganged up on. She also expresses that it has turned her off to all the creators on both sides that she follows and watches because she feels like she is being forced to go with one person's narrative, and it's becoming malicious. And this is the sad part for me, because the whole purpose and intent and principle behind creating content is to forge that connection and make that community. And when they start speaking and feeling this way, that signifies a very serious problem. And this is just one person's unbiased opinion, objectively coming to me to really understand and figure out why all of this was happening. And I had absolutely no fucking clue. So I had to watch a lot of content creators' own videos and really listen to try to get a better understanding of what is driving all of this and why this is happening and why this has been brought up again after 6 years.
AKA April Johns is acting as a semi-quasi representative for the Blanchards. So now we understand why Christy came out of the blue to contact these content creators to find out, kind of a fishing expedition, to find out why this woman, Dawn, was contacting her. We probably think Christy knows why Dawn was contacting her, because obviously Ken and Gypsy knew all about who Dawn was, because Dawn had contacted Gypsy back in 2019 about this illegal letter writing campaign to stop Nick from getting an appeal.
The Gypsy Rose Blanchard case has come to a vitriolic fever pitch. When we fundamentally get down to the very foundation of everything, the common denominator is her, is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And sadly, there are a lot of really horrible people that are not who they say they are or who they portray themselves to be, attracted to the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case.
If one more of you people come into my comments and tell me to watch Becca Scoops, I'm going to lose my shit. I was involved in this situation, however brief.
I just wanted to take a second and say thank you.
As a creator who has never once spoken about somebody's skin color, face, body, height, weight, gender, orientation, identity, or religion, I can objectively say that in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard true crime community, there are many people who are guilty of a lot, but have also been victimized a lot.
And let's be real, they haven't just come for me. They've come for y'all too. They have gone after my family, my body, my looks, my voice, my identity, my closest friends. But through it all, you have stood by my side. And then over the past few weeks, I've made amends with people I once clashed with. Not because we suddenly agree on everything, but because we took the time to understand each other.
And that is a very beautiful thing. That is the thing that I find the most beautiful about people. In fact, I want the people in my sphere, in my realm, to be different than me. I don't want everybody to be the same, because that's boring. Uniqueness, difference in opinion, difference in feelings, thoughts, expressions, that's what makes human beings so joyful and so beautiful and so great to have a community with and interact with. And of course, even Gypsy Rose Blanchard does not deserve to have that, nor do her friends or her family. So my question is there room for forgiveness for anybody? Is there room to live and let live? Is there room for viewers, subscribers, and friends to be able to have a safe space to consume their favorite content without having to worry about picking sides or believing narratives to fit in with that community?
Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network here on TikTok and possibly YouTube and other places, but mostly on TikTok today. I have one last thing I'd like to say in all of this, and then I hope that this will just stop at this point. For those of you that are coming over here from Morbid's pages or Tottie's pages or anyone's pages to start shit, just please go on your way. Go. You want to talk about me, you want to discuss me, you want to have all the problems you have with me, whatever you want, please say to the platforms that is acceptable to, that is not acceptable here. You will not do it to me. You will not do it to any of my team. You will not be doing it to other content creators, regardless of whether I like them or not. This needs to stop. Do you understand? This is a public cease and desist. My stance on the Morbid crew and others. What you are doing right now has nothing to do with this case. You are trashing me because you have run out of content. I have done nothing wrong to any of you. I have filed the appropriate actions. I did not dox anyone, and the information coming forward about who the people on that panel are and what they do is very telling. I did not seek out that panel. I did not seek out Becca to do anything with her. She made a call out and we discussed things. There's many more conversations between me and her on my own personal phone that I do not want to share. I do not want to have anything to do with any of them at all. I do not want to be associated with them in any way or anyone associated with them. They do not bring forward any relevant content. Nothing they discuss has any relevance to the case, and I am issuing a public cease and desist to all involved parties and will continue on with the course of action that I am legally able to do. Let this serve as a warning to you. I am not playing anymore with the copyright strikes. Those are legitimate copyright strikes. You are using my content and you do not have a legal right to do so. All of my content is owned by the Good Wives Network here in Kentucky. And as such, they are copyrighted underneath that. And they are not a part of fair use for anyone at any time. I don't care who you are. If you do not have permission to use any of our content, I will send a copyright strike to you, and I will be fully prepared to see you in small claims court. This is an official cease and desist. I shall be sending them officially through the mail as well as emails. I am publicly telling you, you need to stop doing what you are doing. What you are doing is defamation, slander, libel. It is also copyright issues, and you have no rights to do so. I will be taking legal action.
Is there also room to remember that Nicholas Godejohn is serving his natural life in prison because of all of this, and that he doesn't have his mother either because of all of this? Is there still room for support for him, for advocacy for him? Because at the very foundation of this, if Gypsy Rose Blanchard gets to be free for first-degree premeditated homicide, then Nicholas Godejohn should be granted that same second chance. And that is not for me to decide or for any other creator or subscriber to decide either. No matter what you think or feel your credentials and accolades deserve you of feeling or thinking. And I'm going to break this down so you understand. Over 12% of all incarcerated individuals in the United States are actually innocent of the crime they were convicted of. Michigan has over 19,000 unsolved homicides. The United States has almost 500,000 unsolved homicides. So let's really break down what that means. That means over 19,000 people who have committed homicide in the state of Michigan are walking around freely and have never been brought to justice, prosecuted, or convicted. And almost 500,000 people in the United States have committed murder and are free. Yet everybody seems to sleep just fine at night. And some actually believe that Nicholas Godejohn is a danger to society. And let's not even bring up how many SEX offenders are in every county of every state. Whatever happened to justice, to due process, to mental health awareness, and being able to put those safeguards in place for people that have autism like Nicholas Godejohn? With those safeguards in place, you are at more of a risk of walking down the street and having something happen to you than you are to coming to harm by Nicholas Godejohn. He did save Gypsy Rose Blanchard after all, at least in her version of events. Over 500,000 very heinous, dangerous people that are capable of committing the crime of homicide are living out in the real world as your father, brother, uncle, husband, wife, mother, aunt, sister. Nicholas Godejohn is as much of a danger to society as Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself being free is. But speaking of the devil, let's look into that. What does Gypsy Rose Blanchard have to say about all of this drama? Well, this is what she told me.
This is so cringe. Oh my god. God, it's terrible.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.